you've just found this man here. He's a Hillary Clinton supporter, I assume?
He started her campaign.
Okay, this man started Hillary Clinton's campaign. Can you get a good shot of the sign here?
I got it.
All right, now, sir, now that we've started this interview, can you tell us your name, where you're from, and why are you here?
I'm Bob Kunst, K-U-N-S-T. I'm from Miami Beach. I'm president of HillaryNow.com, and did 210 cities over 5 years for Hillary and 1,000 news interviews. My reason for being here, as it was in Denver, is to share with everybody that I feel that the Democratic Party with Obama has decided that it wants to appease the terrorists, that the people behind Obama they're pro-Hamas, anti-Israel, and if you get Israel, you get America, which is not a good issue here, and that Obama himself keeps flip-flopping on Jerusalem. Something to the Jewish community, he'll keep it united. To the Arabs, he says, I want it negotiated. Well, you don't negotiate my faith of Jerusalem. It's been Jewish for 3,000 years, number one. And number two, you would never ask the Muslims to go give up Mecca for peace. And number three, how do you make peace? Somebody wants to kill you. So this naivete and stupidity on a political level, the fact that we've got a guy who has served 143 days in the Senate and written 2 books about himself, all of a sudden having his hand on the button, I, as a Democrat, am very uncomfortable with. So it's not how the Obama people treated Hillary, it's how the Democratic Party is treating the country. I'm very into national security and defense and the war on terror. I'm not here to support Hamas, and I'm very concerned for Israel and America's security. So for the first time in my life, I'm 66 years of it, I'm actually going to vote for a Republican, and I suspect it's a good 30% of the Democratic Party is coming with me on this. This has nothing to do with how Obama treated Hillary, but I must say, having gone through the whole Hillary experience and how the right wing attacked her on every single level, I see the left wing, how it's going after Palin. Both of them are inexcusable, totally inexcusable. But I think Palin will benefit from this, both in terms of her personal experience with it. She shouldn't give up, and Hillary give up either, being attacked so viciously. But both of them, a pox on both their houses, is just absolute disgrace.
Now, Israel being the sovereign nation as it is, do you think it shouldn't even be any of our business, whether what they do there is, is that any of our business or is that their business?
Well, it's a key issue, and I got to tell you something. George W. Bush is a disaster on this, and you all need to make a very clear indication of your separation from Bush on this. Bush wants Islam divided. He's going along with the Saudi Arabia plan. Saudi Arabia, that's responsible for 9/11 and global terrorism and global economic blackmail on oil. He's going along with that policy, and guess who's following suit? Mr. Obama. Actually, Obama is Bush's 3rd term. It's not McCain. What's happening here is Bush comes out and says, not only do I want Jerusalem separated, which is not his to do, but he wants a corridor now between Gaza and West Bank. That means splitting Israel literally in half, which means bringing the terrorists closer to the major population centers. All that's going to do is bring out the next war. So here you have Bush and Obama on the exact same level, and the media isn't talking about it. Y'all in the Democratic Party, Republican Party, better stop talking about mayors that's 30 years ago and get to the point of Hamas, which is today's terrorism. You understand? Escalate. I know, because I've already taken on Obama in 25 different events, and I've gotten nearly 100 media, and I can tell you where the public is at. Okay? You don't have to waste your time with nonsense. Here's a small link and a big picture. Get to the point. And if you could take on Hamas, then you have to move yourselves away from George W. Bush on this, because the public is not with Bush. You take your Jewish community, your Christian Zionist community, and the people understand 9/11, and this will be the deciding issue in the November election. And in key states like Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, other states, Obama's going to get a wipeout on this issue.
Okay, since you mentioned 9/11, I want to know what your view is on these people here. What do you think about what their views on 9/11?
Well, it's stupid. What are you going to do? You can't teach everybody, not to be a dummy. They're entitled to their First Amendment right to speak out, but it's a very stupid issue. What they're trying to do is to get off the fact that there is a very serious Islamic Nazi threat out there, which is to do the rest in. And they're not just anti-Jewish, they're anti-Christian, they're anti-Buddhist, they're anti-Hindu, they're anti-anybody that disagrees with their 7th century insanity. And, we're all infidels, and the question is, we need to organize now against that mentality. And I can tell you, on September 21st, we're having a big rally at the United Nations against the UN politics that supports this madness. supports the terrorists, doesn't do anything about the genocide in Darfur, where you have Muslims, killing blacks by the hundreds of thousands. Where is Obama on this? Where's anybody on this? Where's Bush on it? And where are any of these people in terms of stopping Iran from getting a nuclear weapon? I see Mr. Biden, who chairs the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, doesn't open up his mouth, doesn't have an investigation. Here's Russia not raiding Georgia. Here's Russia supplying arms to Syria, Hamas, Hezbollah. Here's Russia giving nuclear information and technology to Iran. We could be in a nuclear war in the next 6 months, and what are we talking about? Palin's daughter that's pregnant? I just don't get what's going on anymore. Or we have the Democratic Party that's this stupid that wants to keep talking about how many houses McCain can't remember. I mean, I am so over what's going on in the dialogue for both of these parties. It's a disaster. Our country's in great danger. We want to get our act together. So I want to negotiate only with people who understand America first, the parties, forget.
Sir, what do you think of America reporting to a supranational body of the UN? Do you think we should be a pit?
No, not at all. The UN has to clean up its act. It's spent the last 60 years, all it's done is bash Israel hundreds and hundreds of times. It doesn't do anything about the terrorists. It keeps supporting the terrorists because it's supporting the oil countries that support the terrorists. They're not there for us, they're there for themselves.
Do you think America would be better served by getting out of the UN?
I think America would be better served forming a group of real democratic countries instead of all this crap.
Like what?
Well, whatever. Get everybody who understands.
Like a North American Union?
Well, I don't know. We don't need anything that exists right now, but we need to form something new. People who understand that it's us versus them. I'll repeat my statement. You can't make peace with somebody who wants to kill you. Okay? So you have to make a decision. It's you or them. I want to get together with the countries that understand that consciousness.
Go ahead, Scott.
What form of government is in America now? What form of government was created by America? What are we in now?
Well, we're in a very serious crisis.
No. What form of government are we in now?
Very simple question.
Yes.
Well, I support our Constitution. I'd like it to the point of those countries that understand what freedom and equal rights is all about.
It's an elementary school question. What form of government do we live in?
Well, I'm assuming we're living in a republic and we're living in a democracy.
I would like to congratulate you. You're the first Democrat to answer the word republic, so thank you very much.
Yeah, not a problem.
Thank you very much for that.
But I want you to understand something. I'm not interested in the parties. I'm interested in the security of the country. How do I feel about who? What, World Trade Organization?
No,
That's World Government.
Well, that's all what's happening everywhere. It's the same thing. Don't forget we're in a global economy. And that's,
so we were always in a global economy.
Right. And both parties keep playing that money game. They're not interested in anything else. So everything is moving in that direction.
How do you
have to wake up and realize this is, our priorities are so screwed up right now. The Republicans are so worried about gay marriage they can't focus on Hamas. You guys have got to move in a different direction. I'm just telling you, this is insane what's going on. Everybody worried about who's with whom when the real issue is get government out of our bed altogether. It's none of their business.
How do you feel about every president since 1952, whether Republican or Democrat, all being part of the same team we call the Council on Foreign Relations?
Well, all been playing this game. Everybody was so worried about nonsense issues, you allowed them to do it. You're not focused. You've got to get to the real threat of what is undermining this country.
Which is what?
Well, we have an Islamic Nazi terrorist mentality there, sponsored by the oil countries that are pushing us into this World War III or IV, whatever we're in right now. We could be in a nuclear conflict very, very soon in the next couple of months. You all have to get your act together to find out what your priority is. Stop worrying about who's sleeping with whom. I'll tell you something.
I'm personally not about it.
Okay, well, obviously the Republican Party is. When George W. Bush fires 48 Arab interpreters because they're gay, and our FBI needs to have Arab interpreters to deal with millions of documents they've captured, who's on the losing end of this? 10, either you go for security or you don't. And if you're not serious about it, you're worried about somebody's lifestyle. It's the same thing with the left screaming about Palin's daughter. I mean, it's dumb, stupid, irrelevant. Get on to real points. We don't have a lot of time left to get a handle on.
Well, sir, thank you very much for allowing
pleasure.
me to interview us today. And good luck. We really appreciate what you're doing out here today.
My pleasure.
We may not agree on everything, but we sure seem to agree on a lot of things. So
well, there's more of us out there than you imagine, okay? And all this left-right stuff is totally irrelevant. You know, pox in both our houses. I'm not interested. I want to get to the point. Here's security. How are we going to get through this mess? We're in great danger. How are we going to do it? How do we work together to get to that point? All the other stuff, to me, is totally irrelevant.
Well, thank you.